Hello everyone, B.O.B. here, and I am back with another Minecraft tutorial. And today we are going to make a mud farm. It'll automatically convert dirt into mud, it automatically refills its own water bottles, and it spits more dirt back into your inventory so you don't have to keep getting into your inventory to change things around into your hotbar. Now, the materials required for this build are in this chest right here. You're going to need 2 dispensers and 2 droppers, 1 target block, 6 hoppers, 3 redstone comparators, 2 repeaters, 4 redstone torches, 10 regular pistons, 2 sticky pistons, 6 observers, 1 chest, 18 dashes of redstone dust, at least 1 piece of soul sand, and 1 stair block. And then we're going to need some building blocks, some glass, and some solid blocks to work with. It's probably not a stack of each, probably a little bit less, but I just have a stack of each so you have more than enough to work with. Also, I failed to have it in the chest here to start out with, but you're also going to need, an infinite water source or a supply of water and lots of water bottles, of course, or glass bottles. Now, the area required for this farm is about 16 by 18, but that's only because of how far out it pushes these mud blocks. And you could, push this into a cube so it stores even more if you wanted. I'm just going to do a single line of pistons for now. You could figure out how to push it into further blocks from there or just mine it from there if you like. And then also we're going to need about 2 blocks below the surface, but only in this little area. The rest of it can be, this is going to be your ground floor right here. So let's go ahead and get started. Now to start off this build, we're going to come to this back left corner. We're going to come 2 blocks in from the left-hand side there. We're going to make a little plus sign with our soul sand right in the middle and just solid blocks all around it. It could be glass blocks all around it. It doesn't really matter. But this is going to be the foundation of our bubble tube. And we're going to want a dropper facing right into that. So right on top of that soul soil there. And then we need 2 hoppers feeding into the back of that. Now this back hopper is actually going to be the bottom hopper in our item filter. So we're going to go ahead and start building that item filter right next to it. I want to place our target block with a redstone torch on it right underneath this hopper. And then we need a solid block on top of this target block with a comparator on top of that. And then we want another hopper basically feeding into the side of that comparator, just like that. I mean, it could face off in any other direction, but you don't want it facing straight down. But from here, we need a glass block right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put a solid block underneath here because I'm going to need redstone dust going from this comparator all the way down to this target block, and I don't like to put redstone dust on grass blocks. So that's the item filter part of it done. We'll still have to set a filter. Now to set this filter, we're going to need like 44 junk items. I'm going to use sticks here. You can use whatever you want. I'm sorry I didn't include that in the materials list, but I'm sure you can find some junk items to use. If you're concerned about the filter breaking, you could custom name these, but I know no sticks are going to end up in this system, so I'm not going to be concerned with it. But I want to put 11 in each of the 4 slots on the right, just like so, and take 2 glass bottles, and we're going to put it in this slot on the left. You can see that automatically drops to 1. The second glass bottle is going to get trapped in this hopper right here. Now, the only thing that can fall through this is, sticks and glass bottles, empty glass bottles. The full water bottles, they're going to stay inside of our dispenser, and we'll place that dispenser right here on top of those hoppers. So now, whenever it's full of water bottles, the water bottles will stay in there. If it's empty bottles, they'll fall through our item filter. Now, this dispenser is the one that's going to be turning our dirt blocks into mud. So we're going to want a platform just below that, a block below that. I'm going to place 1 block there, 1 more here, and then another one right here. And then I want a block right on the side of this with a redstone torch right there on the front of it. Then I'm going to have a repeater right on top of that block, and we're going to have that repeater feeding into a solid block. This one here is just temporary. We can get rid of that, but I do want a couple of solid blocks right next to this. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to right there, and then I need a regular piston to place right here, and then we need redstone dust leading from this solid block to that piston, just like so. Now we're going to place a temporary block on top of this piston so we can place our dropper, our last dropper, right up against that. We'll get rid of our temporary block, and then we will need our stair block. And with that, we're going to need a couple more temporary blocks. One right there, one right there. We're going to come down underneath and face away from our machine and place that stair block upside down just like that. So whenever we stock this up with dirt blocks, every time it receives a signal, it's going to spit a dirt block straight down onto the player, which will be standing right there. Oops, didn't mean to break that block. Anyway, let's break away these temporaries, or I guess that one temporary. Now we need to come to this solid block that we have this repeater feeding into. And then on this side, right behind our dispenser, we're going to place a redstone torch. That's what's going to power that dispenser every time it receives a signal. So next we need our piston chain, I do believe. Okay, so to start on that part, we're going to add some more solid blocks here. We need 11 more blocks in this location. And this should bring us to about 2 spaces away from our build area. Just like that. So all in total, it's 12 blocks from this piston. And then we need a redstone torch on top of that last one there. We're going to place a solid block right next to that, along with repeater on top of that, or leading into another solid block. Then that is going to power some redstone dust right here. That comes up onto this solid block, and then we're going to put all of the remainder of our pistons in a long line coming all the way back to our machine. Oops, not there. And of course, we want to leave a 1 block gap in there because we don't want it to be right up next to this. And then we'll bring that redstone line all the way up to the end of those pistons. All right, really all that's left to do is add in our water streams and our water bottle refiller. So this is where our empty water bottles are going to be going. We need to send them into a bubble tube. In order to do that, we're going to use an auto dropper circuit here. So what I need is if I can get in the right spot to place this, I need 2 observers sending power to that block. Oh, how about that? I got it to face the right direction. All right. And then on top of this observer right here, we need a comparator. Let me just pick block that. And then we want that feeding into a solid block right here with a redstone line on top of that. A sticky piston facing down right up against that redstone line. And then an observer facing the opposite direction right here. So whenever there's something in this dropper, it'll extend this sticky piston, sending signals while causing a clock right here. And that signal will travel through to our dropper. So let's go ahead and build our bubble tube here. And that needs to come up high enough. Well, it needs to come up high enough to get into this dispenser and then into this chest. So we're going to build off of that. So our dispenser that is going to be converting our dirt into mud, that's this one right here with the redstone torch on it. We need a hopper to feed into that, and we actually have 1 extra piston here, so let me get rid of that. We need our hopper to feed right into the side of that, and then we need our chest right on top, like so, and then we need another hopper feeding into the back of that chest, and then we're gonna build sort of a glass box around that hopper. With 1 block on top of the chest. I'm going to place a temporary block there so I can place blocks on the sides and then break away that temporary block. Well, actually, I'm going to need another one right here so I can put in a dispenser right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and break away that block because I actually need a solid block here so we can build another auto dropper circuit just like we have down below here. So we need our observers, which let me build a couple temporary blocks off here. We'll break these away. We want our observers 2 in a row like that. Then comparator right there. So it's pulling a signal from that dispenser, feeding into a solid block with a dash of redstone dust on the top. Upside down sticky piston or downward facing sticky piston, and then an observer facing the opposite direction once again. Or wrong way. We want it facing that way. So that way, once again, whenever this is full or whenever it has an item in it, it'll extend the piston, trigger clock, fire off the observer. Now let's go ahead and bring this bubble tube all the way up to place or to drop our bottles Well, into this hopper right here. And oh yeah, before we go any further, we can go ahead and well, we're gonna need water in this. Yes, we need water in this block right here. And then we'll go ahead and cover that up just so that way water bottles don't fly out. All right, let's go ahead and build our bubble tube. So as you can see, we got ourselves a tube right here, and we need water source blocks in each one of these. You can do this in a couple different ways: grow kelp up through there, or use ice, or just a bucket of water for every block. That'd be a little bit tedious, but I mean, I'm in creative here, so it's easy for me. But you can see we got this level with our hopper here. So what we want to do is build sort of a bigger square shape, kind of like this. 2 blocks on this side. And then I'm going to place a temporary there, break it away. 2 blocks on this side, 2 blocks on this side, and then we need one last water source right here on top. So you can see all the water just kind of flows in that direction. And I'm going to cap this off once again. We don't want our water bottles flying off out of the top of this thing. And that is the machine completely done. All we need to do now really is stock it with empty bottles, and it will automatically refill the bottles, or will automatically fill up the bottles for us. And just to demonstrate, as you can see, I got 41 water bottles here, never mind, or 41 empty bottles here, never mind all the full ones in my inventory. If this will be pretty much the whole system full if this fills up all of these bottles. So 41's about where you're capping out at. Go ahead and just place them in the dispenser. They will filter out, and as you can see, they're getting sent up through our bubble tube into this dispenser. They're getting filled up, then dropped right back into the system as full water bottles. So this will always keep that system full. You never have to refill it manually or anything like that. Now all we need is some dirt. Now, let's say you have multiple stacks of dirt you want to convert into mud, but you don't want to have to keep switching around your hotbar and inventory. You just put that extra dirt inside this dropper right here above your head, and then fill up your inventory with any random thing. Just clog it up so that way all you can pick up is the dirt in your hand. And as you place it, it will continuously drop more into your inventory. You can't see that right now because, well, I'm there you go. You can see it falling. I'm in creative mode, but there you go. So you can craft up a bunch. Well, this will only hold so much, but there's ways to like push it into different blocks and send it through piston arrays, however you want to do it. This is the main part of the farm I was focused on. And that's going to be it for today's tutorial. I'm sorry if I seemed a little bit scattered and unprepared for this one. I actually set this up weeks ago, and I'm just now getting around to recording it. So I was kind of remembering the build as we went there. But as you can see, it does all work. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial or you found it helpful, please remember to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. I want to wish everybody a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one.